We've been talking a lot about the Giants, Dibs, and we just had a call from Jan in Mountain View, one of our favorites, who was talking about how other teams don't have an issue coming in here and hitting the ball out of the ballpark, but the Giants still do. And frankly, they have a lineup probably this year that is more well-equipped to hit the ball out of the ballpark than they have had in a really long time. A full year of Rafi Devers, and he's been a 30-plus home run guy for the majority of his career. You got Willy Adames, of course, again this year. He hit 30 home runs last year, the first time a Giant had hit 30 home runs in a season since Bonds. You got to go back like 20 years since the last time that happened. You've got some other power in Matt Chapman. You were hoping for some power from Elliot Ramos. He hasn't hit one yet and is hardly hitting the ball at all. You're not going to get a ton of power from offseason acquisition Luis Arraez. But, Harrison Bader does have a decent amount of pop. He did last year. You're expecting a little bit more from him. He's hit one home run so far this year. The point is, though, that Dibs, this is a Giants offense that actually probably is more well-equipped to hit the long ball than the Giants have in a really, really long time. And not that that is upsetting to me, but what's frustrating to me specifically is the lineup and the team that this Giants organization has put together, frankly, goes against, I think, their stated goals leading up to the season. What Buster Posey said when he took over was, what wins here is pitching and defense, right, and doing all the small things and stealing bases and not committing errors and taking extra 90 feet and not giving away extra 90 feet. And frankly, the team that not just he put together, the team that he inherited and the team that he has continued to put together scream everything other than that. For the most part, it's not about pitching and defense. It's about getting the high-paying, middle of the order bats that are trying to hit, maybe 220, but hit 30 bombs and see if that's going to win you baseball games. And maybe it will work, maybe it won't, I don't know, but I just have an issue that it feels like it has gone against what their stated goal was to do, because we haven't seen the pitching and defense be the reason they're winning games.
The roster feels to me a little bit like splitting the baby, where it's not pitching and defense, because your pitching it's pretty good, but you don't have a great bullpen. You don't have 5 really good starters, and the defense is, your first baseman is still a question mark, and your second baseman is not really a second baseman, although he's going to play there all year.
Yeah.
Your shortstop can be a little bit, I don't know about wonky, but he makes some plays that are head-scratching, and your left fielder, it's an adventure every time he goes out there, and your center fielder's now in right, and, he's pretty good, but your defense, outside of your catcher, he's elite. But beside that, your defense is just kind of okay.
Chapman's obviously great, but he's had some bad throws this year already.
And, first base is still an ongoing question mark. And so your defense is kind of like a little bit of great and a little bit of not great, and your pitching is the same. And then your offense is, you have 3 guys who are, I think, really good plus hitters, and then Elliot Ramos should be. And then Luis Arraez is a really good hitter, but he's, more of a slappy, a singles hitter. And then you've got 1, 2, 3 guys you're out at the old ball game every single time. And, Bader is a little bit of a wild card. He can be good. He hasn't been good. But if you look at Bailey, he's never been a great hitter.
No.
And, Jung Ho Lee has not yet established himself as a good hitter. And so when you go through your lineup, you've got 3 or 4 guys who are legit, and even all 4 of them are not hitting great. So you're not a great hitting team. You're not a great pitching team. You're not a great defensive team. So what are you? What it all adds up to be is 81 and 81.
Is that what you think they're going to be again this year?
Well, yeah, the over-under was 80.5. And I mentioned this last week. Like, I was looking at that thinking,
that's so painful.
Yeah, 80.5? That's easy. And I felt like you with the Warriors, like, you were licking your chops.
I was
47.5, and you're like, "Oh, that's easy money."
They're getting 50.
That's easy money. That's an over.
And they're going to get 40.
And I probably have mocked you too many times about that.
I deserve it.
I mean, whatever. It's all betting. I just lost a pick 4 at some track you've never heard of. So you win some, you lose some.
I have no idea what's going on.
I looked at
FanDuel TV. What the hell?
Yeah, animals riding animals. But I looked at the Giants over 80.5, and I thought, yeah, I mean, they're going to win 85. I get the Giants going 87 and 41, whatever it was. And then I didn't bet it. And then they started out 3-8. But if you look at this team, like, the pitching is, it's okay. The defense, it's okay. The offense, it's okay. And if you go, okay, you're going to either be 79 and 83 or 83 and 79.
We had a text that came in a while ago. I didn't get to it, but it's the 925. So shout out the 925 on the Boxer and Gerson Work Injury Attorneys text line. This was obviously a callback to Guru's famous drop, and also one that's a little more less excited about the Giants season. I got the Giants going 62 and 97 is what the text says.
Yeah.
That would be a disaster. That's not going to happen. If it does, then we got major issues. But I mean,
Tony Vitello does not survive that.
You don't think so?
If they go 62 and 97, I think that's it.
I don't know if you make a crazy hire, a surprising hire, an experiment like this, and you almost no matter what happens in one season, I don't know if you can change it unless he does something terrible off the field.
Yeah, I mean, if you win 62, and I mean, you have to lose more than 97, it'd be 62 and 100.
Yeah.
If you lose
that's
100,
part of the bit. Guru didn't have the appropriate number of games.
That's the whole bit.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm giving the 925 credit. He did the bit right.
Yeah.
He or she.
No doubt. And if you go back, the last time they lost 100, if you want to go back,
oh God,
it was. Were you born?
I was gonna say sometime in the 90s. Was that the last time? Was it pre-Bonds?
I got Grandy not being born in.
Is it like 93? When
85.
was it? 85.
That's PG.
Oh my God, that's far PG. That's 11 years PG.
You were born in 96?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm turning 30 this year, Dibs. Don't
That's
remind
a shame.
me.
So 30. Oh, the humanity.
In a little more than a month. 30.
I was still in college at 30. It's not funny.
Was that your fifth junior year?
No, that was my restart at SF State. Yeah, I graduated in 99 before I turned 31.
Nice.
Already married, but yeah, still in school.
Hey, never too late.
Yeah, whatever.
Never too late. Dibs.
My mom, rest in peace, made me go back. It would be great if you could graduate college. Come on, Mom.
That's not a very nice impersonation of your mom.
You don't know that.
I mean, you're right. I don't.
You never met her.
I did not.
It was very, very accurate, and she hit me with that. It's like, oh, God. Oh, Schmidt. What am I going to do?
For Mom.
And I did. I went back.
And do you regret it?
No.
Yeah, exactly. So what are you giving her hell for?
I mean, I'm not giving her hell for anything. She's actually up top.
Oh, of course.
No doubt my mom is in heaven, but my career was completely unchanged by the fact that I got my degree.
Yeah.
Completely. Like all the broadcasting jobs I've gotten, none of them have ever said, hey, would you mind showing me that Bachelor of Arts that you got?
What was your GPA your senior year? Okay.
My senior year, which one? It actually was really good. Don't ask me about the junior year. I got grades that you've never even heard of. I got letters that they don't even give out anymore. I got U's, I got W's, I got I's. Of course, I got F's, Cam.
I'm trying to figure out what the... I mean, I know what
how many F's did you get, Dibs?
The I would stand for what? Incomplete? I don't know.
W, withdrawal. U, unauthorized withdrawal. F, your standard F. And as I learned, D's get degrees.
Uh-huh. Way to go, Dibs.
Cha-ching.
We're proud of you. You got the job done, and your mom was very proud of you as a result.
She was.
Cha-ching! Exactly.
Whatever.
Cha-ching.
Yeah.
Anyway, Vitello's not going to lose 97 games this year.
He's not.
If he does, we're in trouble. I am, though, and I think the larger point that I'm trying to get at, Dibs, is my frustration with the Giants, and I'm not at a spot where I think that this experiment is over and it's going to fail or any of that. But a lot of the frustration that we've been talking about with the Giants, I don't think it falls on Tony Vitello. I think a good chunk of it falls on the players just not performing up to their standards, and that's something that you would expect it to change eventually. But other than that, where a lot of this falls on is Buster Posey, whether it is maybe not really committing to the plan that you set out for yourself, which was to rely on pitching and defense and use, the game plan that won you guys World Series in 2010 and 2012 and 2014 as your guide to being competitive again here in the 2020s and potentially beyond. It was maybe not committing to that and signing more bullpen arms this offseason instead of giving out gigantic contracts to a shortstop or to a third baseman or to a center fielder, now turned right fielder. I know that was not Buster, but that was the previous regime. But instead of doing those sorts of things, it is, handing those dollars over to top half of the rotation arms. And it was signing more bullpen guys. So, like, we can have all this uproar about Tony Vitello all we want, and we can wonder why he's admitting there's been other, fracases in the clubhouse between Chapman and others, and whether that's smart to admit that or not. That, to me, doesn't really impact what happens on the field and between those lines. I just think the vast majority of what has ailed the Giants so far, one, isn't terribly surprising because of what the roster looked like coming into the season, and that, to me, falls more on Buster Posey than any other individual in the organization.
Well, and also ownership. I don't know if ownership, put constraints on Buster as far as what he could spend and how much he could go out there and do in free agency. And, you've got arms that you have really liked in AAA. You've got various Carsons who are there, and, why aren't they going to be able to come up and pitch for you? They might be able to, but...
Well, they might have to when one of your starters invariably gets hurt.
Right, and, you went out and you paid Hauser a 2-year deal for $22 million. That's not a ton, and that's not top of the market, but you hope that he can go out there and be somebody who can help you. And, Mahle, 1 year and $10 million, so you chose to go that route with your free agent pitching money, as opposed to, going out there and giving a guy 5 years and $150 million and hoping that he's the man. You have your number one, you have your number two, and if Roop is your three, then yeah, I don't mind what they did with your 4 and your 5. You brought in guys who have pitched, veterans, not deep veterans, but guys who have done the thing. And if they don't do the job, then you've got other arms you can bring up. My issue is more with the bullpen where, you get rid of Doval, and that's fine. And you had an injury to Rodriguez, and that's unfortunate. But you came into November, December, January, knowing that you had no closer.
Yeah.
And, Ryan Walker is a closer, I guess, if you want him to be.
Kind of by default, he has to be.
Right, but wouldn't you want to have 3 guys who you could, really look at and say, yeah, we can go with any one of these 3 guys? And right now, you've got Walker, and then you've got, I don't know.
Eric Miller. And
and Miller's good. He's tough on lefties, but...
They've been using Keaton Wynn in high-leverage moments. He had a couple of really good outings, got roughed up once or twice, but... you got Caleb Killian, who's a cool story, and you guys talked to him yesterday on the station after he put up a 0 yesterday, and he's heading on his first show plane ever.
Yeah.
Good for you, Caleb. Congrats. I'm sure that was cool for you yesterday.
Coming off a great Easter and Good Friday and all the rest of it.
Now he's on the show plane. Big deal. But, you're relying on a bunch of guys, for the most part, other than Eric Miller and maybe other than Ryan Walker, and you got questions about those guys. You're relying on guys that you don't... There's not a ton of evidence in the major leagues that they can make it at this level or be consistently good for you.
You've actually got me thinking about, the roster in terms of, what's their identity? Are they an offensive team?
It's a good question.
No. Are they a defensive team? No. Are they a great pitching team? No. Do they have a great bullpen? No. Do they have a great manager? No. And so, they're a team that is, I think, kind of in transition.
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
What do you think Giants fans would say if we were to ask them? And you can let us know, 888-957-9570. If you had to put a word or a phrase to it, what is the Giants' identity?
Right. And we could do this with all 3 of the big teams and even the Sharks and, shout out San Jose. And, last night I think was a little bit of, it was kind of like when you wake up after a long night of drinking, a little sobering.
Connor McDavid is so good.
So good. And I actually put that out on Twitter. I was like, our superstar is amazing, but their superstar is just he's better.
Did you hear what Macklin said about him post-game?
I didn't.
He essentially said, that guy's fast, different. And Macklin is faster than almost everybody else.
Macklin's fast, but he's
calling this guy fast.
And Macklin's got amazing, stick work, and Connor McDavid's a little bit better.
What do you have, 3 goals and 2 assists?
I'm not sure, but
he was amazing.
The third goal was just okay, I get it. He tried to pass it, and then
Edmonton's
the
good. I get
went down and went off his stick and, through the 5-hole, and it's okay, you're not going to win this one. And it doesn't mean the Sharks are done, but when you look at the Sharks' identity, their identity is we have a young core, and we may not be ready, but we're building. And the Niners core is a little bit in flux, but it's, it's Brock Purdy. And, we're going to have to figure out from there, what we do in the future.
You got a solid, group that you're relying on still. You got a solid baseline.
Right. And, the Warriors are a little bit in flux as well. But at their best, their core was we run, we shoot threes, and nobody does it like we do. And now they don't really do it as much as other teams do or as well as other teams do. And I look at the Giants right now. If you look at the Giants when they won the 3 World Series, it was pitching and defense and timely hitting. And right now, this team is not pitching and defense, and I guess it's timely hitting, but their roster's a little bit of a tweener, I think.
I think coming into the season, if you were to ask Giants fans or maybe even the Giants themselves, what is their identity, they probably would say, well, we hope that we're a team that can pitch well enough, but we're probably going to have to rely on our offense more than anything else. You're probably a team that is reliant on Devers and Adames and Chapman to carry you. And if those 3 can't carry you, and to this point they haven't, although Devers does seem to be swinging the bat better, and Chapman, this is probably unfair to Chapman, he's been, in terms of the big guys, like your best hitter so far this year, hitting 300, still a relatively small sample, but he has not been bad by any stretch. But yeah, it's a good question, Dibs, because I don't know what the identity is. You would have said before the season, again, probably relying on the offense more than anything else, but what we've seen through 13 games is an offense that at best is inconsistent. They might score 7 runs for you one day, but they'll turn around and get shut out the next.
Yeah.
And the pitching, frankly, has been better than expected. Maybe not the bullpen, but the starting pitching has been great. I mean, Malley and Hauser both were great their last starts versus the Phillies. Hauser didn't get a win as a result because the bullpen, and he kind of began that rally in the 7th for the Phillies, but the bullpen didn't hold up his end of the bargain. Ray was great. Webb was really good as well in the last game of the series against the Mets, but they lose that one as well. But you have a certain level of inconsistency all across your team that you are a team that's kind of floating around without an identity right now.
Right, and offensively, I mean, you've got Devers, who's going to be paid for 10-year contract, and Adames 7 years, and Chapman 6, and Jung Ho Lee has got 3 more years on the deal, so these are guys that are going to have to produce, and some are, but some are not. But going forward, like, where are you going to invest your resources? Do you want to get more pitching? Do you want to get more offense? And I think about the ballpark, and Buster knows this, where he won 3 titles based on the ballpark. It's like you had great starters. You had Kane and Lincecum and Vogelsong and Bumgarner and all the rest of it, and then you had a great knockout bullpen, and you had great defense, and then you were able to win games, tight games, and occasionally you could break them open. But right now, the way that this roster is built, you've got big money in hitter. Robbie Ray is going to be a free agent after this year, and I don't know if he's going to get a lot of money at 34. And then Jung Ho Lee at 27 has not lived up to billing.
Not at all.
What do you do from here? What's the pivot point going forward?
I think the most frustrating part, and this is probably the biggest sin of the Farhan era, it was not developing the farm system. But I can speak for myself, Dibs, and maybe there's Giants fans out there that feel differently. But one of my biggest sources of frustration about the Giants, not just this singular Giants team, but the Giants over the course of the last 5 years or so, is, as you're talking about, Robbie Ray under contract for just this season. I know that he's been a Giant for a couple of years now, but you know what I'm talking about. You mentioned Tyler Malley, a 1-year deal. Hauser, a 2-year deal. You got Logan Webb, and you feel pretty good that he's going to be a Giant probably for the rest of his career, because that's the kind of guy that he is, and he's ingratiated himself to this fan base at such a level that it would be hard for the Giants to move on from him, although maybe something like a Bumgarner happens down the road, and who knows what happens. But he's going to be a Giant for a long time. But besides that, in terms of the pitchers, I don't have a lot of guys that I can wrap my arms around as these are our guys and they will be here for a long time. And starting pitching is kind of like the offensive line maybe in the NFL, where it's not really the best idea to go out and sign guys in free agency because those are largely going to be overpriced, and you're paying a lot of money for maybe an average level player in the NFL on the offensive line, specifically at the tackle positions. You have to develop those guys, and then you hold on to them through their arbitration and all of that. But the Giants haven't been able to do that, Dibs. And as a result, the only thing they feel comfortable doing is giving kind of these middle-tier deals to middle-tier starters for a year or two and having to do that all over again the next year. Yeah, and they got Robbie Ray, but he was coming off a major injury, Tommy John, and so they got him. That was a dumpster dive bargain big. And it was smart. And it turned out to work great. But you're probably not going to sign him again. No, and even the guy you drafted, Kyle Harrison, who you traded for Rafi Devers, I don't know if you've noticed, but he's actually
in Milwaukee and pitching pretty well.
And Luis Matos threw out a runner at the plate for Kyle Harrison.
Ah, boy, that's crazy. I mean, I'm just looking at Harrison here, 2 starts with a 2.61, and he's got a win, and he's pitching, 10 innings through 2 starts. So
great organization in Milwaukee.
He's at least in a spot where, he's getting to start, and you wonder if he was still here, but you love having Devers, but, to your point about, drafting, and you're not going to go out there and try and find a guy who is top of the market. Like last year, you brought in Justin Verlander, who was mostly okay.
Yeah, he was all right.
I mean, he pitched innings, and he was like, he was fine.
Yeah.
He was healthy, and he got people out, but you're not looking at going out there and getting the next big free agent pitcher. So far, you've gone out there and got, free agent hitters.
Yeah, and you're probably going to get to a point where those free agent hitters are going to be valued as overpays in the future.
Maybe.
If they're not even already considered that right now. But it's kind of what you have to do on the free agent market, which is what makes the failure of past regimes to beef up the farm so much more hurtful, because you can't just replenish and get cheaper talent over and over and over again.
And we'll see about Adames. He's only making $13 million this year, but then it goes 31, 31, 31, 31, 31. So the next 5 years, he's making 153 or 155 over the next 5.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's the price you pay to get a big name in here when you haven't been able to get a big name offensive player in here in a really long time.